So what if I told you there was a wireless PowerA Fusion Pro controller, but it's not available in America, and it's not for Xbox. It's actually for PlayStation, more specifically PlayStation 4, and it does actually work on PlayStation 5. But the trick is you have to play PS4 games, so it's actually just backwards compatible on PS5 for PS4 games. This controller is actually pretty good, and it's a little bit better than the Xbox in some ways as well, because the Xbox controller does not even have the option to be wireless at all, even though it is a little bit lighter. But the PlayStation controller does have the option to be used wirelessly, and you can use it wired, obviously, with the USB port, which is a micro USB. This controller is actually a few years old, like the 2 years old-ish, 2 or 3. You can't use USB Type-C, unfortunately, but it's pretty easy to use. It's pretty similar to the Xbox. Like, you have the program button up top where you can remap the 4 available paddles. The best 2 paddles that I decided to use on this one are the top 2 paddles, and I just find that it's very easy to reach down here. So I just had those mapped to X and triangle, as I typically do. That's just my preference when I use a controller, even though I'm no longer goated on the sticks like I used to be, unfortunately. But from time to time, I do decide to play controller and play some console games and stuff like that. Ain't nothing wrong with it, okay? Even if you play controller in a PC, ain't nothing wrong with it. And this controller I have been using quite a bit on the PC mode. So there's USB ports. I'll flip this around. Bluetooth for PS4. PS4 USB and PC USB, and you just move this little switch here to put it in the correct mode. You have your trigger stops right down here, really firm. So now no trigger stops at the top setting, and then max trigger stop, which is a half press on the 3rd setting, which is really nice as well. And then if you don't want to use these paddles, this is removable, and especially because this is Bluetooth, that's really nice, because if you just want to sit down, play a story game, and chill a little bit, you don't have to have this little pack on the back of your controller, and it's even more comfortable. And that's the thing. I find that this controller is a little bit more comfortable than the Xbox controller, just because, as you can see, it's a bit bigger, it's a bit wider, and you do have a little bit more comfort grooves in the Sony version of the controller. And I'm really upset that there's no wireless option for the Xbox, even though it would be heavier, and I'll get to the weight and whatnot a little bit in the video, because I do want to talk about what I want to see in the next version. But basically, the button layout is going to be obviously the PlayStation layout. You have the PlayStation button in the middle and the touchpad here as well, which is nice for a lot of games that use, you know, the touchpad as either the menu or map function for the most part. Like if you play Warzone, the touchpad is the map, I want to say. Then you also have the D-pad, which is really nice, and then you have your face buttons here, which are nice and tactile, not very squishy at all. Your bumpers are extremely clicky. Like, these things are super tactile. It feels very good. The triggers also extremely smooth as well. I could definitely use these to play any kind of game. If it's a racing game, first person shooter, adventure game, whatever, it doesn't matter. These triggers are extremely smooth and very nice to actuate. You do have a 3.5mm jack right there, and then for the thumbsticks, these thumbstick rings are incredibly smooth. Now, if I compare 1-to-1 to the Xbox, I do feel like the Xbox Fusion Pro is a little bit smoother. And this is more so in relation to, 1, the Xbox controller is available, and 2, you can use both of these on PC. So that's why I'm drawing a lot of comparisons, because unless you live in Europe, you can't buy the Fusion Pro wireless for PlayStation 4. In America, it's not available, which is really unfortunate, because this controller is really good. And then for whatever reason in January, like, I was on the hunt. I was like, there has to be a PlayStation version. I don't know why. I like got real specific or whatever, I guess on the US website. I just didn't see it. Or maybe I just wasn't looking in the right place. I don't know. I wasn't aware of it until a few months ago, where I started testing this out, where I asked PowerA to find a way to send it to me. This Fusion Pro wireless for PlayStation, and I'll be frank with you, even though it has the wireless capability because it uses Bluetooth, it's not the same level of responsiveness compared to when you have it plugged in wired. When it's wired, it is a lot more responsive, but it's still usable. So I just don't recommend using wireless when you're playing competitively. Like, if you're sitting back on the couch playing a story game and you're using a TV where you got a ton of input lag anyways, you won't really notice a difference. If you're playing competitively or semi-competitively, you're playing a first-person shooter or whatever, just get the cable. This cable is like stupid long as well. Like, it's really long. It's the same one that comes with the Xbox proprietary N2, so it doesn't like fall out. Like, you got a real secure mechanism in here when you plug in this cable. It snaps right in and it does not move. Like, this is definitely probably the best implementation of you know, like a wire mechanism for controller between this one and the one on the Razer versions of the Wolverine and the PlayStation Xbox ones. The Raiju, I believe the PlayStation one was called. One more thing, you can still pop off this faceplate. That's how I was able to swap out the thumbsticks, because inside the handy dandy carrying case that they give you, that's very similar to the Xbox one, they do give you, like I said, the extra 2 paddles, these black rings for this edge right here on the joystick. So if you want everything to be nice and stealthy, you can just put these on and it'll match. And then a couple extra thumbsticks. It comes default with the shorter thumbsticks on here. I like to use the longer thumbsticks just because I just find it more comfortable and my fingers are kind of tall. And then you also do have a cover for the back compartment here as well. So if you want to use that, you definitely can. Well, I was never really the biggest fan of using this ever. I just found it kind of weird, so I didn't really see much use for it. So yeah, I decided to pass on using this, and having my thumb like rest on this and rock on this, it's just strange. But overall, the carrying case is really nice. But this controller is just really nice. I'm really upset that it's not available elsewhere in the world other than, it seems like, European regions, because I can't find this thing to buy at all in the US. Like, I wish I could drop you guys a link, but I can't, because I can't find it. If you guys find it and you want to drop in the comment section, feel free, I'll pin it. I really hope that PowerA is working on a PlayStation 5 version of this controller, like, and come out like tomorrow, because that would be excellent. And as soon as that thing's drop, I'll be the first to let you guys know about that. I've been sitting on this review for a while because I kind of wanted to formulate how I wanted to do it. And the next part of this review that I want to do is just kind of talk about what I want to see in the next version for the PlayStation 5. I want to see the weight reduced a little bit, okay? And when I say I want to see the weight reduced, these controllers can be the same weight, but what I really want to see is the ability to pull out the vibration rumble motors in the handles to reduce the weight of the controller. Similar to how Scuff used to do with the, I believe it was the Infinity a while ago, where you could take off the, was it the Infinity or was it the other one, the Impact? I can't remember. I think it might have been the Impact actually, where you could take off the top faceplate, very similar to this. And here you could remove from the grips of the controller, which is really handy if you preferred a lighter controller and if you quite frankly just didn't use the rumbles. Like, I pretty much don't use rumbles unless I'm playing a story game. Like, I just never use them. So the fact that those are removable was really nice, and hopefully that's something they can bring to the Fusion Pro line. Next thing is, I would like to see both the PlayStation and the Xbox controller both with the ability to be wireless. Now, I know that Xbox probably has like some specific hold on the market where no third parties can release wireless controllers except for Scuff, because they use actual Xbox controllers and just modify the crap out of them. I really hope that that's the case. That it would be nice if we could see more wireless Xbox One and Xbox Series controllers, because well, you know, just because you want to use a Pro controller and the Elite 2 is trash because it's not durable at all. If you read the Amazon reviews and all that good stuff, do your research before you buy an Elite 2. I would like to see both the PlayStation and Xbox version with the ability to be wireless. And then of course, you know, obviously if it's going to be for the next generation consoles, I think they're going to go with some fresh design language. I don't really know what else they could do. I guess if they go with something that's similar to the design of the current PS5 controller, you know, that'd be fine. But I'm just curious to see what they're going to do with that. But otherwise, I mean, the Fusion Pro, if you don't really prefer this style of back buttons, you know, I can kind of see that. If you prefer like the larger square buttons of the Razer Wolverine, that might be something that you might want to see. I do like this design though when I use the top 2 pedals. The bottom 2 pedals on the PlayStation version of the controller I find to be kind of useless, but the top 2 pedals are definitely really nice to use. And I think I actually swapped the triggers from the bottom paddles actually to the top, and it just made it even more comfortable. So yeah, I don't know, I don't really have any problems with these. It's been pretty good so far, so I don't really see a real need in changing it. And the fact that, you know, you don't want back buttons on the back while you're playing, if you're not playing a competitive game, you know, you can just pop this off, which is nice because, you know, with something with integrated buttons, you don't really have that option. But that's really all I have for you guys. I'm sorry that you can't get this controller, and I'm not giving it away because I like it a lot, and I will be using this as my primary PS4 controller, even on the PS5. And I only use my PS5 controller when I play PS5 games, because otherwise I prefer this controller. It's so nice. and I would be really upset if it breaks. But if it does, I'll keep you updated. I'll make it shorts and let you know. But I don't think so, because my Fusion Pro that I've had for almost 2 years for Xbox is still fine. Granted, I don't main Xbox anymore or console at all, but I have put quite a few hundred hours on this controller, and the thumbsticks are still fine. So I don't know. You can see they're a little discolored because they're older and I've been using them and whatnot. But otherwise, I mean, a year and a half later, this thing is still doing good. So I have no complaints about any of the Fusion Pro controllers. If you happen to be in a region where you can get this controller, because I think it's $130 US, so whatever that translates to in your area. If you're able to get this and you still play PS4 or you just play PC, I mean, this is probably one of the best controllers you're going to be able to find. So for future reference, PowerA, make the US version of this in the PS5 version, and we will all be happy. And if you make it with removable rumbles, that'll be the best bonus possible. But all right, guys, that is gonna be it for this video. If you guys enjoy, feel free to drop a like and subscribe if you're new to the channel as well. I do have quite a few other controller reviews dropping really soon, actually, that I'm working on right now. I just got done testing a ton of controllers, so you guys will probably see those come out within the next couple of weeks, so just be sure to be on the lookout. But thank you again for watching. I will see you in the next video. Universal issue. That was vicious as heck.